Hey, this is Jets Punter Thomas Morstead. Excited to be here with Brooks Huber. Hope you guys enjoy my episode of For the Athlete.
You're listening to For the Athlete, a podcast aimed at humanizing the athlete by giving them a platform to control their own narrative and tell their life stories. As always, here's your host, Brooks Huber.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to For the Athlete. I'm your host, Brooks Huber, and we have an amazing guest on the show today. He's a Super Bowl champ and a Pro Bowler. He's made a name for himself in his 15-year career, heading back for his 16th, and does a lot for his community as well. Welcome on to the show, Jets Punter Thomas Morstead. Thomas, thank you for taking time out of your day to join me. How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me on.
Well, hey, I'm glad you could come on the show today. We have a lot to talk about. Let's just start it off by talking about you're back for your 16th season after signing a 2-year deal to remain with the Jets. What were those conversations like with the Jets and your family that led to you playing another 2 years in New York?
Pretty simple, I would say. Free agency is not all it's cooked up to be for most guys. You hear the exciting headline splashers of guys getting these mega deals, but it's kind of a stressful time for most people, and it can be. It can be not as lucrative for guys as they think it could be. And so, anyways, I've seen both sides of the coin on that. And this was, it was great. I think the team gave a little bit, I gave a little bit. And, at the end of the day, both sides really wanted it to happen. And so I'm just grateful to be a part of it. I'm excited about the season ahead. And, it's, I don't know, I guess I don't take it for granted. It's an awesome thing to still be doing this at my age. And I'm just really excited about the season to come.
Yeah, it sounds like you're getting better with age because you set some Jets records this past season with punting that we're going to talk about later. I think the best is yet to come. And I'm glad you're back for another 2 more years. I want to scale back to before your career even started. Growing up in Texas where football is huge, did you always play the game or were you into soccer a little bit more growing up?
Definitely soccer. I was always a football fan. I remember watching football on Sundays at the house and with my dad. But, it was never a dream to play football. I love soccer. And, I don't know that I ever had professional aspirations. I mean, maybe when I was 7 years old or 8 years old. But once I, started getting into junior high and high school and self-awareness kicked in of how little I was and it's going to be tough to even make a high school team, let alone be a professional. So I never really had dreams of doing that in high school. And I just was a late bloomer that got into it my senior year, went out for the team, had a good experience. And, at the end of that senior season, I said, maybe I could try out. Maybe I could walk on somewhere. And, I just kind of gave it a shot. And that was a really difficult road doing that in college. Being a tryout walk-on punter is about as low on the totem pole as you can get on a college team. And but I was fortunate to get the opportunity to join the team and to be a part of the team, even though I wasn't dressing or anything like that. And just gave me a chance to develop and grow and get in the weight room, and I discovered that. And once I got in the weight room, the ball started going further and higher, and I just dedicated myself for my entire college career and ended up having a great experience and got drafted. So it's been a really awesome, a lot of hard work, but a little bit of an aw shucks kind of start to it and just see how far I could take it. And I'm still going. So it's been awesome.
Yeah, Thomas, at what point in your career at SMU did you say, hey, the NFL is a legit possibility now?
I don't know that I would say it was. I guess I'd give you a few answers to that. I remember in my second year, I was still a tryout walk-on, and I wasn't even a preferred walk-on. So I was just showing up first day of school, trying out. And I remember that year, a teammate of mine named Andrew McKinney, he was a running back for us, kind of cornered me in the weight room, and he told me to put my chest out there and said, dude, you're going to go to the NFL one day. You don't even know it. And I'd never even thought of that. And then the next year I got put on full scholarship. And I remember at the end of my first season playing that I didn't feel like anybody we played that season in the 12 games we played was better than me. And I said, well, I must be pretty good. And then at the end of my junior year, our punt team finished second in the country in net punt average. And that's when I really thought, okay, this is a serious, I've got an opportunity here. And then going into my senior year, I found out that I was the number 1 ranked specialist on the national and Blesto scouting reports. And that obviously was like, wow, I'm being looked at. So, it was kind of a just constant, that all those things kind of gave me confidence at different times along the journey. As hard as it was, and being a walk-on, being a tryout guy I'm so glad I had to go that road, because it really forced me to grow, and it's made me who I am today. So
there we go. You kicked in college. Did you know that you were going to be a kicker, or do you think you were going to be a kicker in the NFL, or did you kind of know that punting was going to be your position?
I never had thoughts that I could be an NFL kicker. I mean, I knew I could hang with NFL kickers as far as how far I could kick the ball. But even my senior year, some days was just like, you just didn't know if it was going to go in, if it was going to be straight enough. I was always going to get it there. It was going to be long enough. So I knew very early on that punting was like my thing, and that I was really specially gifted at it. And, who knows, if I wouldn't have punted, who knows where I could have taken kicking. I do think I have the mind for it, and all the other, hardworking and tough, thick-skinned personality traits to be great at it, but certainly was not as gifted at it.
That's fair enough. Well, hey, the New Orleans Saints thought you were incredible as a punter, as they drafted you in the 5th round of the 2009 NFL draft. And for me, like, anytime I see a punter or kicker get drafted, there's some additional pressure for them to make the week 1 roster and be good out of the gate, unlike any other position. Did you feel that kind of pressure coming into the league?
Absolutely, I did. I got letters from Saints fans saying I better not turn into Russell XLIV, who was drafted in 1979 out of Texas in the 1st round. So yeah, I had to learn my history real quick, and I had to.
What did you feel like when you saw those letters come in? Because like, here you're just a young kid who's like, you couldn't control that you were drafted in the 5th round.
Well, it was a good learning lesson early to realize that a lot of the pressure that's put on people and players is created out of thin air, and has nothing to do with the way you work or the way you're going to produce or do your jobs. I don't know. I guess I have focused less on proving people wrong or trying to overcome naysayers, and more focused on my love for the game and the opportunity to do something that's just amazing, to be a part of a team and to do this as a profession. And the opportunity, I don't know, I guess I just looked at it differently. Definitely remember some of those things. I wouldn't say it's my daily focus for sure.
So I looked at the whole draft. You were drafted 2 rounds ahead of Pat McAfee. Have you ever reminded him of that, or how much do you hold that over his head?
Not at all. Me and Pat, I taught Pat how to punt, and he's a friend of mine, and it's really cool seeing him do what he's doing now, because I remember when we got together after we had been drafted, and he was so talented that they drafted him to punt, even though he was more of a kicker. And so they just thought he was going to figure it out. I remember him telling me he wanted to parlay his NFL career into being a WWE wrestler, superstar. And I just thought, good luck with that, buddy. Per usual, or what
he did it.
All Pat has done is do what he wants to do and build what he's built. And, he's an amazing story about just trusting your own compass and doing, and listening to your, what you want to do, and not listening to what everybody else tells you can't do. It's pretty cool to see all the success he's having.
He's a big inspiration for me. I love watching his show and how he's humanizing all these greats like Bill Belichick, Nick Saban, J.J. Watt, Aaron Rodgers. And we're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers in a little bit, because I know you're good friends with him. Are you thinking of starting your own ESPN show soon called The Tom Morstead Show? Because I think it would do very well. It's a small sample size, but I think America loves punchers.
Yeah, I think there's only room for one punter podcast at a time, and Pat's definitely taking control of that. I don't know that it's anything that I'd want to do. I do like providing insight and being part of some of these things, but I think I'm going to be real selfish with my time when I'm done playing. My kids and my wife in particular have, sacrificed a lot. It's a selfish sport. And sometimes it's all hands on deck for what daddy's doing. I think when I'm done, it's going to be hard to peel me away from just being 100% about those guys all the time.
Family, man, I love to hear that. Then, let's talk more about football. As a rookie with the Saints, you were a huge part of one of the gutsiest calls in NFL history, where you successfully kicked an onside at the start of the second half of Super Bowl XLIV in a route to a 31-17 win over Peyton Manning and the Colts. What were the conversations like at halftime that led to that play being called? And what was going through your mind leading up to it? Because again, you were a rookie having this huge burden on your shoulders early on.
Look, we said we were going to run it. I didn't really believe we would do it, but Coach told us the night before we were doing it. It wasn't a matter of if, it was just when. He told us right as we got in the locker room for halftime. And so at first I was kind of upset because I had to sit on this for 30-something minutes. But, I didn't really deal with it well initially. So it's probably a good thing that I had time to kind of work through how I felt about it. But certainly glad we did it. By the time I went out to do the onside kick, I was, excited about it. I was still incredibly, anxious about it. But, I'd reminded myself of all the times we'd done it in practice and I'd hit it how I'd want. And, I just thought, hey, listen, we're going for it. And everybody's excited about running the play. And, they're not going to say we didn't go for it. We played it safe. So I think everybody was on board. And obviously it was a huge play and stole a possession away. I just kind of we felt like a team that was a team of fate that year, and when we went and did that and got the ball, we just knew we were going to win, and it was just an awesome feeling, awesome thing for me in my career, not only to be a part of that for that team in the city of New Orleans, but also I've just kind of carried that confidence. There's something about being a Super Bowl champion and having been a part of that and gotten it done on the biggest stage. You kind of carry that with you in the rest of your life and all areas of your life. And it's been a huge thing for me. And I'm very grateful to have been a part of it.
There we go. I went to look back at that game, and it's not like you guys were down like 2 scores or anything. It was 3 to 6 or
it was
3 to 9 or 10
to 6. 10 to 6.
Okay, something like that. And I was like, okay, yeah, so that's very close game. But then, like you said, Sean Payton had that predetermined. That's just Sean Payton for you. I want to ask you about a new rule change for 2024. The NFL has, in my mind, made some dumb rule changes in the past few years that take the strategy out of special teams, such as letting kick returners fair catch the ball outside of the end zone for a touchback. But this new rule in 2024 takes the cake. They're eliminating the surprise onside kick. Many people opposed to it point to your kick in Super Bowl XLIV as a reason to not eliminate it. What are your thoughts on the change?
Well, I think number one, it stinks that you basically told a team that they can't take a chance, no matter how low the odds are, that they're not even allowed to attempt something. I think that's the real problem I have with it. From the standpoint that there should be far fewer touchbacks, I think that's a really good thing. So I think anytime you have a play, just like the extra point used to be at a 20-yard kick, and it was like a de facto. It was a 99.6 or 99.7% chance of success. It's kind of like there's no excitement to it. Well, when there's touchbacks on 3/4 of the kickoffs, there's no excitement to the play, and I think that's not good for the game. So I think there will be some awesome parts to that. The fact that you're not allowed to take a team by surprise kind of sucks. And more importantly, I think the process by which rules are changed is really silly. We really don't have a say in it as players, and I think that also kind of stinks. But it's what it is. It's the way it's going to go.
Yeah, maybe in the new CBA that can be changed where players have more of an input. I don't know the inner workings of the NFL if that's possible or not.
Anything's possible. It's like anything when you do a negotiation. What are you willing to give up for that? And, you can get anything you want if you're willing to give up other things for it. And so other guys will think that that's worthy of giving something else up, or that they'll be willing to hold a line and not step foot across that line unless they get X, Y, or Z. That's always the battle.
There's been a lot of rules that I've disagreed with over the years. And then there's some that they've been good, but they've just pulled away. Like, I think reviewing pass interference was a good idea. It was just poorly executed. But that's just my opinion on it. I want to talk more about your time with the Saints. After 12 years, they released you. And at the end of the day, the NFL is a business. But the conversations behind closed doors are most likely a little bit different for a team legend like yourself compared to, let's say, like a first-year or fourth-string tight end. How did that all go down, and were you ever considering retirement?
I was not considering retirement. After there were no conversations leading up to it. I think the team probably thought I was considering retirement, but no conversation was ever had. I had a really down year. I had an injury and I had a vision issue, and both kind of collided at the same time, and I just struggled to be who I had been. It was just a challenge, and all I know is that I was not done I was not done playing, and I had to get myself healthy, get myself back right, and I just needed to see where I was what I could get back to. I'm grateful for my time with the team. I've got a great relationship with people inside that building, and I got nothing but love for them. So there's no resentment about anything. Just a hard time. I'll say you this, I'm really, it's been a rewarding last few years to bounce back and to get back to the elite level of play that I know I've been accustomed to playing at my whole career. And not to prove anybody else wrong, but just to for myself, and to also bounce back and have my kids be old enough to see dad get fired, pick myself up and go the hard road to get back in. It was really challenging, and it's been really rewarding. So I'm grateful for all of it, honestly.
You've rebounded very well. Did you have time to make that conversation known with the Saints that you were getting healthy, that you still wanted to play, or was it too late?
I couldn't answer that. I never had a conversation. They just called and said, hey, we're going to release you. And that was it. So now when I very thoughtful in how they did it, and they did an awesome kind of tribute to me, which, is not owed to anybody when they leave a place. All I can say is I love everybody in that building, and we still live here in New Orleans, and this is home, and I've got nothing but love for everybody over there.
There we go. Well, after playing for the Falcons, Jets, and Dolphins in 2021 and 2022, you found yourself actually back with the Jets in 2023. How did those conversations happen? And then you also became good friends with Aaron Rodgers as well. So can you talk about your relationship with him too?
Yeah, he's been great to get to know. My perception of what he was and who he was has changed by being teammates with him, and
right.
Changed in a positive way. And he's a big part of why I'm here. Chance to win it, and to have a chance to do something special as a team. That's really exciting. And so it's been awesome getting to know him, and I'm looking forward to continuing to get to know him. And hopefully we can have him play a little more than he did last year, and I can play a little.
Hopefully.
and I can play a little less than I did last year, and everybody'd be happy. So, yeah, it's exciting times ahead for sure.
Well, yeah, he publicly went out and said that the Jets need to re-sign you and Greg the Leg Zuerlein. How much does that mean to you, hearing that, and then knowing that, hey, you're going to be coming back because you just had one of your best years?
Yeah, look, it means a lot. It's not, Aaron's not pulling favors to try to help his buddies get paid, or, he wants to win, and he knows what it takes to win. And, he's not doing that because we're friends. He's doing that because he's been burned in the playoffs by special teams, and having steady, consistent performers that what you're getting day in, day out. He understands the value of that, and I think that's why he spoke up and said that. So it was super cool that he did it, obviously. And I know I speak for myself and for Greg. We're both excited to be back and be a part of it. And, we'll see what happens this year.
Wait, hopefully it goes better than last. You mentioned hopefully Aaron Rodgers can play a little bit more this year.
Yep.
I want to talk to you about this past season. So Rodgers goes down. Everything seems like it's been turned upside down. Zach Wilson starts, then gets benched. Mecole Hardman gets traded and then calls out the Jets, which then you called him out, which I thought was amazing, defending your team. It was just a crazy year. What was the locker room like before Aaron tore his Achilles compared to the final 17 weeks?
I don't think the locker room was any different. We very easily could have won 2 or 3 games last year, and we didn't. Nobody packed it in, and you learn a lot about people when things are down, chips are down. So I didn't sense any change. We hung in there. We actually came back and beat the Bills, and then we play the Chiefs tight.
You guys should have won that game. I was watching it.
I'm with you. Look, we play the Chiefs tight. We go to Denver, have a nice, confident win out there. We beat the Eagles at home, give them their first loss. So it's not like
the Jets' first win against the Eagles of all time.
Yeah,
too.
And it's not like nothing changed. and we get the bye and we come back and play against the Giants and we lose 3 offensive linemen in the game, and the season just changed at that point. It is what it is. It's not anybody needing to try harder or we need more rah-rah speeches. It was none of that. We just lost 3 offensive linemen and we can't, we're struggling, and it just was what it was. Nobody gave up. It was awesome. Honestly, it was awesome to be a part of the team and seeing the New York media. When we were winning, there was divisiveness in the news, and I'd always heard about the big market media, and then as soon as we're losing, it's tearing down everything, and people need to be fired, and blah blah blah. And so, I was just proud to be a part of the team. Guys hung in there, and hopefully the pendulum will swing. We had some rough fortunes last year, and hopefully we'll get the other side of that coin and get some good fortune with injuries and stuff like that.
Well, yeah. So it sounds like with the media, they blew everything out of proportions with the whole locker room. And I know like Mecole Hardman said some things, you kept him in line saying, hey, that's not what it was. But it's good for you sticking up for your team and knowing that, hey, the media got things wrong.
Yeah, look, all I would say is the only thing I was doing was I heard what he had to say. He started picking on people personally, and I just saw what he had to say about Coach Boyer, and I knew what happened in that realm of things. I don't know all the other stuff, and I just didn't like it, and I felt I should say something, and that's all I have to say about it, really. So I'm glad it's all over and we can move forward, and I'm looking forward to sporting the new number 6 this year.
Yeah, your new number 6 and new jerseys. Do you like the new jerseys? Are you feeling good about them?
Yeah, for sure. They look sweet. Excited to wear them.
There we go. All right, well, you led the league with 99 punts this past year and 4,083 1 yards, which are both franchise records. It seems like you're only getting better with more seasons under your belt. When do you think you'll know when to hang up the cleats and then start the next chapter of your life?
I don't know. I just figure I'll know. If I don't have butterflies before a game, if that excitement's not there, if I'm not looking forward to the training in the weight room, and look, as your kids get older, it'll be harder and harder to pull your family away from the things that they need to be focused on. So I don't know. At some point I'll know that answer. I just know it's not right now. And, I'm excited to still be doing it.
Fair enough. Well, I like to end off these podcasts with hearing about your goals. So if you'd like to come back on the show next year, we can revisit them and see how you do. We'll go through personal goals on field next year, team goals, and then something you want to accomplish in the next 5 years. So let's start off with your personal goals for 2024.
On the field, I just want to be elitely consistent, which is what I felt like I did last year. Typically, I kind of dangle out that top 5 in net punting is like a really cool place to end up. I haven't met that in a number of years, but that's always the goal, is to be top 5 in net. And there's a lot of other factors that go into that, but I think it's a good place to aim for. And as a team, I just, I'd love to get to and win the Super Bowl. That's why everybody's playing, is to try to be a Super Bowl champion. And, why not us? So as far as the next 5 years, that's so far away. It's hard to, know what you'll be doing at that time, if I'll still be playing or not. So, obviously I'd love to continue raising my family and doing a good job with those guys, and just making sure I'm getting as much time in as I can with the kids and my wife, because time is fleeting and it moves quicker and quicker as the older you get. So make sure I just take all that, never take it for granted, and just enjoy the time I've got with those guys.
That's incredible. Well, hey, thank you so much for coming on the show. That's all I have for you. Is there anything else you'd like to speak on that we didn't cover?
No, Brooks, I appreciate you having me on. This is great.
Well, hey, yeah, thank you so much. Good luck this season. I hope I don't see you too much on the TV, as that means Rodgers and the offense is doing their job. But I'm rooting for you, and the boys to make a run next year and stop Mahomes from a three-peat. So go out and win a Super Bowl, your second one.
I'm hoping we can do it. Appreciate it, Brooks.
All right, thank you so much for coming on. I'm your host, Brooks Huber, signing off until next week. Thank you for listening to the Thomas Morstead episode on For the Athlete.
Thanks for listening to For the Athlete. As always, be on the lookout for another athlete appearance next week. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and wherever you listen to podcasts.